Okay, welcome ladies and gentlemen to the November 13th, 2023 Farmington Hills City Council meeting. My name is Randy Bruce. I'm the Mayor Pro Tem sitting in for our Mayor Vicki Barnett, who is unavailable for tonight. So we're going to start as we always do with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please join me in that. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right. Now we're going to do the roll call.
Council members Boulware,
Here.
Bridges,
Here.
Knoll,
Here.
Newland,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Bruce.
Here.
I will note that Mayor Barnett and Councilmember Ken Massey are absent.
Thank you. Okay, now we need a motion for the approval of the agenda. Mr. Bridges.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, I move the council approve the agenda as published.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Newland. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? It passes 5-1, or 5-0, I mean. Next is a presentation by North Farmington High School on reducing the stigma around stress management. If you want to go up to the podium and introduce yourselves.
Good evening, everyone. We've been here in the past couple of years. I think it's been our 4th year in a row. So thank you for having us again. My name's Tasia, and I'm the president of the North Farmington HOSA chapter.
My name's Mehar. I'm a senior at North Farmington, and I'm the vice president of our North Farmington HOSA chapter.
So a little bit about HOSA. It's a health career competition-based organization. There's various events, test events, skill events, presentation events, leadership events, and teamwork events. The event that we decided to go with this year is community awareness. Basically, the event requires that we choose a topic we feel passionate about, whether that's a health or safety topic, research and present it to the community to the best of our ability. So we felt passionate about reducing the stigma around stress management. Both me and Mehar are part of different clubs in school and outside of school. We have different commitments. And as seniors with college apps, we really feel that stress has played a big part in our lives thus far. So we wanted to kind of aim to reduce the stigma around it so we can best help ourselves and the others around us. So far for our community awareness project, we've had an international webinar planned with Madrid, Canada, and across the United States. We've partnered with teachers at North Farmington High School and different schools in our Farmington district to either present our topic to the students in health classes, interview teachers, and get their perspective. We've introduced our counselor to this, and we've kind of had a well-rounded perspective on what students and staff in the Farmington Public School District have on this topic as well. We've been guest speakers on a podcast show who also feel very passionate about mental health and health wellness in general. So this is part of our project as well. We hope through the city council meeting, we can reach the community in a greater audience.
So like Tay just said, today we'll be talking about what stress is and effective stress management techniques. And as we speak today, we hope everyone remembers that stress affects everyone. And as high schoolers, we've only experienced just a little bit of what that word means, but we hope this presentation can help to share stress management techniques and help to reduce the stigma around stress.
So to begin, what is stress? Stress can be defined as a state of worry or mental tension caused by a difficult situation. So when we went to the middle school and the high school health classes, we asked them the same question as an interactive segment. We said, what does stress mean to you? What we noticed is that a lot of students gave one-word answers. They were more like common stressors. They said sports, school, tests, maybe relationships. And so comparing that with our adult perspective from our teacher and counselors in our schools, they gave more of a textbook and longer definition. And we think that really highlighted the difference in maturity and understanding of the complexity of stress. And we think that through this presentation, we want to aim to encourage our students to kind of explore that complexity around stress to better help themselves deal with the stress.
And continuing on, the Berkeley Wellbeing Institute defines stress management as the tools, strategies, or techniques that reduce stress and reduce the negative impact stress has on your mental or physical well-being. And as we did this presentation, again with the middle schoolers and high schoolers, a lot had responses such as sleep and TikTok, just very like one-sided, very small aspects of stress management. And compared to our teachers and adults that we interviewed, a lot of them talked about staying active and sharing their experiences with their family and friends. So through this presentation and our other activities, we hope to continue sharing effective stress management techniques.
So why do you guys want to learn about stress management? Why is it important to understand this? To begin, in the moment when you're feeling stressed, you're probably going to get clammy, sweaty, maybe like a racing heart, doesn't feel so good in the moment. But long-term conditions include high blood pressure, high heart rate, obesity, depression, and anxiety. And basically, these stress management techniques can recalibrate the body and increase resilience. So say you're at like a level 100 of stress, you do maybe a stress management technique that can recalibrate your stress levels to maybe a level 20, and this can effectively manage your stress long term.
And the stigma surrounding stress. So people may try to dismiss or minimize your stress. For a lot of students, that involves their parents or the adults in their lives. And for adults, it can include their family, their relationship partners, and other important factors in their lives. And through this, it's important to remember all people feel stressed at times and to prioritize yourself when you're feeling stressed and practice your stress management techniques.
So a specific term for this is avoidant stigma coping. Avoidant stigma is characterized by a person who purposely ignores their mental health needs and does not seek help in fear of being assigned a stigmatizing label. So an example of this would be maybe a high school student that is experiencing a high level of stress, and they really need to seek that mental health resource, whether that's a therapist or just talking to a trusted adult or maybe just a friend in general. And in fear of maybe being called a generalized term as crazy or psycho, they would not seek that help and kind of suppress those feelings.
So to show some statistics, this is a graphic that compares the adult average stress level during the past month, and this was taken, I believe, in 2020, compared to the Gen Z adult average reported stress level. And as you can see, there's a very significant difference between the two. And this really highlights the difference in stress levels between the younger and the older generations, and the significance and importance of sharing these stress management techniques and continuing to reduce the stigma.
And then this slide talks about different causes of stress. In the beginning, we talked about common stressors that students face. The slide is mostly focused on adults. Some examples include finance and bills, family, children, injury, friends, and work. On the other side is a list of people in your lives that can cause stress. When you put time and energy and care and effort into something or someone, that can lead to stress, and the number one stressor is your partner, according to this graph.
And then taking that stress and utilizing effective stress management techniques. Most people enjoy watching TV or movies, going for a walk or hike, listening to music, reading a book, and other things on this graphic. And these are important to understand because not everything works for everybody. And these highlight the differences in how we choose to manage our stress and continue to work towards our health.
So this slide talks about the different types of stress. I think in order to really reduce your stress levels in an effective way, it's important to understand the different types. The first one is eustress. This is known as your good type of stress. It's kind of known as a motivator. So say you have like a deadline at the end of the day. The stress to complete it on time and with good effort would be considered eustress. It's not necessarily having a harmful effect on your body, but it gets the job done. The other side would be distress. This is known as your harmful type of stress. And there's three different types: acute, episodic, and chronic. And as the name suggests, those are in correlation with the variation of how long the stress lasts. So say, for example, acute is maybe a week worth of stress. Maybe you have a very big deadline at the end of the week. Maybe that week you're gonna feel fatigued, have a lack of digestion. So those are kind of examples that would lead to an acute type of stress. Episodic stress, so for this example, I'm gonna steal one that we had one of our students at the middle school say. This girl said sports was a stressor in her life, and every single time she had a game for the week, she would get stressed before the game would happen, and then the stress would go away. The stress would reappear the following week when she had another game. And then chronic type of stress, this is kind of the most unfortunate type of stress. This is a long-lasting stress, and an example could be someone that you loved passed away. That stress is going to carry with you along with the trauma and grief.
So some symptoms of stress. So physical symptoms can be a result of maybe the behavior you're exhibiting. If you're so stressed that you don't eat, you're reducing your sleep patterns, that can result, or just physical symptoms from being so stressed. These can include headaches, body pain, chest pain, difficulty breathing, dizziness or shaking, and stomach and digestive issues.
And then some mental symptoms of stress would be irritable, angry, overwhelmed, anxious, nervous and racing thoughts, and depressed or uninterested in life. And I think this slide really highlighted how much stress impacts high schoolers. When we were on our podcast this weekend, we were discussing how we define stress, and I think apart from the textbook definition, it's really hard to put a definition to that word just because as young adults, we don't necessarily know that we're experiencing stress. And I think through this presentation, both me and Mehar learned that we are stressed individuals and that these symptoms are kind of a way that we can recognize our own stress.
So going back to our main topic of reducing or breaking down the stigma, in order to reduce the stigma, it's important to initiate open conversations regularly with your peers, with your loved ones, and with people you don't even know. To be open and empathetic with others, understanding what they're going through and how you can support them. Normalize mental health assistance and resources as time has gone on, and especially during the pandemic, this has become more normalized, but it's important to continue with these resources. And sharing coping strategies and documenting your own mental health journey to not only support yourself, but to support your loved ones and others around you.
And then the slide follows up on coping strategies. So a couple of other things that you can do to cope with stress is deep breathing exercises, engaging in physical activities, talking to a trusted adult, journaling, practicing mindfulness or relaxation techniques, or engaging in hobbies you enjoy.
This graphic comes from the American Psychological Association, and this is more to put things in perspective if you're generally stressed. So they recommend taking a break from the news and social media, finding 3 good things that happen to you each day, practicing self-care in 15 or 30-minute increments throughout the day, staying connected with friends and family, and keeping things in perspective.
And then these are some mental health resources. We have the state of Michigan, of course. They have a list of government trustable websites that you could go to. And then the following 4 are, again, government or funded associations that can help with stress. The last one is a more generalized teenage-friendly resource known as the Mental Health First Aid. Apart from these resources, again, like we said, it's nice to take a break from social media and the news, but at the same time, there are positive effects of social media that we would like to highlight. For example, our Instagram page, and along with the podcast, different Instagram pages that we've partnered with, there's a lot of great resources on the social media web that you could use to really engage with others that are experiencing stress and learn from their stories and how they deal with stress. And I think it's important to recognize the duality of social media. Any questions?
Any questions, comments? Yes, Ms. Knoll.
You're both seniors, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, and you won't be here next year, but will these presentations continue? Do you
Yes,
have-
of course. So this is for HOSA, like we said in the beginning, but usually when we present, we're with the American Red Cross, and hopefully the club stays after I leave, and we will have someone take over and present for you guys.
Okay, so it'll still be in good hands?
Yes.
Well, thank you for everything you've done. I recognize you coming in over the
you.
past 4 years and have enjoyed your presentations. Thank you, and good luck in whatever you do next after graduation.
Thank you.
Mr. Bridges.
Yes, so this presentation, are you giving it to the entire student body at North Farmington, or where are you disseminating it? If information you have here?
So in terms of disseminating information, we've presented to the health classes, which is mostly freshmen. At North Farmington, we also have the American Red Cross Club, HOSTA Club, and Mental Health Club. We presented to those organizations as well. And we made a brochure for our counselors to pass out, so that's another way we are giving out this information.
Thank you, appreciate that. Thank you.
Ms. Bolivar.
Yes, it's been a pleasure seeing you come over the past few years. I've seen how you have grown, and much luck to you, I'm sure, whatever you decide to do after you graduate from North Farmington. But I know there are a couple of stress reducers that I found to be true, and one is journaling. I journal all the time, and I find that to be a great stress reducer, and also cutting off the television, because that could be very, very traumatic, especially in the months that we're living in. So thank you, and much success to both of you, whatever you decide to do.
Thank
I
you.
can see you're going to be great. Yeah.
Okay. And I thought it was an excellent presentation. I thought you really hit so many important points and what to do about stress, which is absolutely critical in so many situations. So very, very nice job. And I certainly wish you both the best of luck going forward. I think you both have great futures ahead of you. And thank you for what you've done up to this point, and best wishes going forward on your future.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, moving on. A proclamation recognizing November 2023 as Family Court Awareness Month, and I believe that will be read by Mr. Bridges.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. Proclamation Family Court Awareness Month, November 2023. Whereas the mission of the Family Court Awareness Month Committee is to increase awareness on the importance of a family court system that prioritizes child safety and acts in the best interest of children. And whereas the mission of the Family Court Awareness Month Committee is fueled by the desire to create awareness and change in the family court system for the estimated 58,000 children ordered into unsupervised contact with physically or sexually abused parents each year, while honoring the hundreds of children who have been reported as murdered during visitation with a dangerous parent. And whereas the mission of the Family Court Awareness Month Committee is to increase awareness on the importance of empirically based education and training on domestic violence, child emotional and psychological abuse, childhood trauma, child sexual abuse, coercive control, post-separation abuse for all professionals working in cases within the family court system. And whereas the mission of the Family Court Awareness Month Committee is to increase awareness on the importance of using scientifically valid evidence-based treatment programs and services that are proven in terms of safety, effectiveness, and therapeutic value. And whereas the mission of the Family Court Awareness Month Committee is to educate judges and other family court professionals on evidence-based peer-reviewed research that is a critical component to making decisions that are truly in the best interest of children. Now, therefore be it resolved that Vicki Barnett, the mayor of the city of Farmington Hills, on behalf of the city council, do hereby proclaim November 23 to be Family Court Awareness Month. I encourage all residents to support their local communities' efforts to prevent the harm of children in the hands of family members and to honor and value the lives of children.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody here to receive it? Mr. McChin? Or Ms.
Yes, from Geraldine Morris.
Okay. Oh, very good. Come on up. Would you like to say a few words? Okay, very good. Just go right over to the podium.
Good evening. My name is Geraldine, and I'm a member of Protective Parents Michigan. I would like to thank the City of Farmington Hills for acknowledging that child safety should be the priority in family court and custody decisions. Most people do not understand the catch-22 of domestic violence. Women are encouraged to leave their abusive situations, but when they have children, they are thrust into family court, which seems to have no understanding of domestic abuse, and that puts their children in harm's way. In fact, most women are told by their lawyers not to mention abuse, as they may lose custody of their children if they do. Tragically, abuse is not understood and believed by the courts, and 58,000 children in the U.S. each year are ordered into unsupervised contact with physically or sexually abusive parents. I want to share some statistics so you can see why family court reform is so badly needed. Most child abuse is perpetrated in the family by a parent. Abusive parents are more likely to seek sole custody and are successful 70% of the time. Children are 3 times as likely to be shot at home than in a mass school shooting, and 1 child dies every 6 days amid custody fights and family court cases. Since 2008, 37 Michigan children have been murdered during divorce or custody battles. Research indicates that allegations of child physical and sexual abuse are regularly discounted by the courts when raised in custody cases. Less than 1/4 are believed. And if the abusive father claims the mother is alienating the children, only 1 out of 51 child sexual abuse claims are believed. The solution is to enact Caden's Law in Michigan. Caden's Law is focused on prioritizing child protection over parents' rights. Caden's Law was named for Caden Mancuso, a 7-year-old girl murdered by her father during court-ordered unsupervised parenting time after the court ignored the father's history of abuse. Caden's Law was passed by Congress in the Violence Against Women Act, and it would provide funding to our state to educate judges and guardians ad litem about all types of abuse, including coercive control and emotional and psychological abuse that leave invisible scars. Judges would need to consider past history of abuse when making custody decisions. Children would not be removed from a protective parent's home and be forced to live with an abusive parent. We are trying to shed light on the failures of family court so changes can be made to ensure that knowledge about all types of abuse and how to recognize it becomes an essential part of the family court and custody process, so that child safety is always the priority in custody decisions. Our children's lives are literally dependent on the courts becoming educated on these issues. Thank you for proclaiming November as Family Court Awareness Month in the city of Farmington Hills. It means the world not only to me, but to all the parents in Michigan who are struggling to protect their children in family court.
Thank you very much for your advocacy on this issue. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have a proclamation recognizing November 2023 as Native American Heritage Month, and that will be read by Ms. Bolaware.
Well, thank you. This proclamation is very personal. My paternal grandmother was a member of the Muscogee tribe, which is a part of the Cherokee Nation. And for the last 3 years, I've been trying to finish up a book about her life, her tradition, her values, and some of the things that she has done during her life to pass on to my future family members. And also this coming Wednesday at our award-winning Hawk, we're going to have a Native American Heritage Month celebration, and I'm sure someone may talk about that a little later. So with the proclamation Native American Heritage Month, November 2023, whereas Native Americans are a diverse group of people with a rich and multifaceted system of governments, languages, religions, values, and traditions. And whereas Michigan is home to 12 federally recognized Indian tribes, which are sovereign governments that exercise their own direct jurisdiction over their members and their territory. And whereas Michigan has several significant Native American cultural sites, including the Zimwing Center of Anishinaabe Culture and Lifeways in Mount Pleasant, the Bessemer Museum for Northwest Michigan in Alpena, the Andrew J. Blackbird Museum in Harbor Springs, and the Potawatomi Heritage Center in Wilson. And whereas we have a rich past and a bright future thanks to the varied contributions of the many tribes who have lived in Michigan, including our state's 3 largest tribes, the Ojibwe, also called Chippewa, the Odawa, also called Ottawa, and the Potawatomi, also called the Odewadimi. And whereas Native Americans continue to be influential in all areas of life in Michigan, including government, business, the arts, medicine, education, law enforcement, and the military. And whereas Farmington Hills represent a place where diverse people from all backgrounds live and work together, giving us opportunities to honor our differences and celebrate our similarities. Therefore, Vicki Barnett, Mayor of the City of Farmington Hills, on behalf of the City Council, do hereby proclaim November 2023 as Native American Heritage Month in Farmington Hills and urge all citizens to learn about Native American heritage and culture and to celebrate the vast contributions of the first Americans. And this will be accepted by our Cultural Arts Supervisor, Rachel Tiblin. Thank you.
Thank you, council members, Mayor Pro Tem Bruce. I'm Rachel Timlin. I'm the Cultural Arts Supervisor for the City of Farmington Hills. Behind me, I have Lindsay Janik and Sam Kepi. Sam is our Cultural Arts Coordinator and Lindsay is our Cultural Arts Programmer. I want to thank all of the members of council for issuing this proclamation in recognition of Native American Heritage Month. Your acknowledgement underscores the significant contributions of Native American communities, and it furthers our shared cause of promoting diversity and cultural heritage in Farmington Hills. It will be our honor to share this proclamation at our first ever celebration of Native American culture at the Hawk this Thursday, November 16th at 4 p.m. And I'm going to turn the mic over to Lindsay and Sam, and they're just going to tell you a little bit about the event. And I really hope that I will see many of you there. Lindsay?
Thank you very much for this, for the proclamation. We're very excited about this Thursday's event. It's the first of its kind, and we hope that there will be many more to follow. This Thursday, Reg Pettibone, who is a full-blooded woodland Native American from the Ho-Chunk Nation, along with his wife, will present a unique and engaging cultural performance that will be filled with dance, music, drumming, and it is a family-friendly event at 4 o'clock. So we are hoping that families will come after school, come to the Hawk, and join in our celebration with us.
Yeah, thank you, Council, for issuing this proclamation. I just want to say that at the Hawk and in the Cultural Arts Division, we are presenting a whole series of these cultural celebrations throughout the year. We started last year with our Lunar New Year event, which we're repeating again this year. It's some of the programming I'm most proud of. I think we have such a supportive community that Lindsay and I can seek out great artists to share what they do best. So, our philosophy is to give people the stage to be able to present this information in the best way possible. So while we may not necessarily be the best people to accept this proclamation, like Rachel said, we really look forward to sharing it with all the attendees at the event on Thursday night. So thank you.
Thank you all very much. Appreciate that. As much as I'd love to be there, and I think Ms. Bullaware would be too, we're going to be out of town at a National League of Cities meeting on Thursday, so we won't be able to attend, but hopefully we'll be able to be there for the second annual celebration next year.
Absolutely. Okay. And I just want to mention that if anyone's interested in coming to the event, thehawktheater.com, you can find more information about it.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you all very much. Okay, now we have a proclamation recognizing November 20th, 2023 as World Children's Day, and that will be read by Ms. Newland.
Oh, no, America's Veterans is next.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, Veterans by Ms. Knoll.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so whereas throughout the course of history, courageous men and women have taken up arms to secure, defend, and maintain the core principles on which our nation's freedoms depend. And whereas since our nation's founding, more than 41 million men and women have stepped forward to serve their country during times of peace and times of war and conflict. And whereas the veterans who served in the military have protected the American way of life and have dedicated themselves to achieving lasting peace throughout the world. And whereas the spirit of freedom remains strong with over 1.3 million men and women currently on active duty and more than 800,000 in the reserve forces. with many in harm's way fighting overseas. And whereas, as a nation, we are internally grateful for the noble sacrifices made by our veterans, and we honor and respect them for their service. Now, therefore, Vicki Barnett, Mayor of the City of Farmington Hills, on behalf of the City Council, does hereby recognize our esteemed veterans in acknowledgement of Veterans Day 2023, and urges all residents to pause and reflect this November and throughout the year on the sacrifices of those who have served their country. And I believe we have Farmington Hills Police Officer and U.S. Army Reserve Staff Sergeant Michael Rabinski here to accept this.
I just want to say thank you very much, and definitely thank you for all the support for military. Thank you.
Thank you for your service. Thank you. All right, now we move on to the proclamation recognizing November 20th, 2023 as World Children's Day, read by Ms. Newland.
Thank you. This is a proclamation for World Children's Day, November 20th, 2023. Whereas the United Nations General Assembly recommended in 1954 that all countries institute a universal Children's Day, adopted the Declaration of the Rights of the Child on November 20th, 1959, and the Convention on the Rights of the Child on November 20th, 1989. And whereas the convention, which is most widely ratified international human rights treaties, sets out several children's rights, including the right to life, health, education, and play, as well as the right to family life to be protected from violence, not to be discriminated against, and not to have their views heard. And whereas UNICEF has promoted World Children's Day annually to demand and secure a future where every child across races, places, and genders has the freedom to thrive and fulfill their potential. And whereas the mission of the Farmington Hills Commission on Children, Youth, and Families is to encourage a supportive environment where children, youth, and families are happy, healthy, educated, and safe, and have the opportunity to reach their full potential. And with the goal to make recommendations to the Farmington Hills City Council concerning the needs of children, youth, and families in their jurisdiction. Now, therefore, be it Vicki Barnett, Mayor of the Farmington City of Farmington Hills, do hereby proclaim Monday, November 20th as World Children's Day in Farmington Hills, and to urge our community and our city to honor the contributions to young people to continue to seek new ways to incorporate youth input into planning and policy making, to affirm that children have rights and our city has the responsibility to promote their well-being, and to urge governments to take action to demonstrate their commitment to children's. Signed, Vicki Barnett. And I'm looking over here at my two smiling faces from my Family, Youth, and Commission that I've proudly been able to be liaison to, that we'll be accepting.
Thank you so much. You're welcome.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for this proclamation tonight. My name is Jordan. I'm currently the Vice Chair of the Commission on Children, Youth, and Families for Farmington and Farmington Hills. And also Sharon is here behind me to express our support for this proclamation drafted by and unanimously passed by our commission. Most residents in Farmington and Farmington Hills believe that no matter what we look like, how we pray, or how much money we make, all our children deserve the freedom to thrive and fulfill their potential. Today, our community has the opportunity to deepen this commitment that began with the creation of our Commission on Children, Youth, and Families by passing this proclamation to mark World Children's Day and support what it stands for. And when we come together, we will make sure that all children, no matter the color of their skin or what zip code they live in, are free to meet their full potential and live out their dreams so that they have plentiful green spaces to play in, can roll, stroll, and move through our streets safely, and know that they have the support they need right here in our community. Thank you all so much.
Thank you. Okay, now we have the proclamation recognizing November 25th, 2023 as Small Business Saturday, and that will be read by Mr. Bridges.
Thank you, Mr. Bruce. Whereas the City of Farmington Hills celebrates local small businesses and recognizes that they create jobs, boost the economy, and helps to preserve our community. Whereas the City of Farmington Hills is home to more than 5,000 small businesses that are owned and operated by hardworking people of all kinds. of each dollar spent at local businesses, 70% stays in local and stay local and recirculate to other area businesses. Shopping small means you support your community and a fellow resident's dream. Whereas Michigan has more than 900,000 small businesses that amount to about 99.6% of Michigan businesses. That's 99.6% of the businesses are small businesses in Michigan, defined as small businesses with fewer than 500 employees, accounting for nearly 2 million employees that represent nearly half of Michigan workers. And whereas small businesses sales have reached 80% of pre-pandemic levels, but as our lives have largely returned to normal, the economic effects among the smallest of small businesses still linger. Whereas consumers who shop on Small Business Saturday are making a conscious commitment to support small, independently owned businesses and make purchases with positive impact. Whereas Small Business Saturday is an important part of small businesses' busiest shopping season, consumers are encouraged to shop or eat at independently owned businesses and purchase gift cards from local businesses, not just during the holidays, but year-round. Now, therefore, be it resolved that Vicki Barnett, the mayor of the city of Farmington Hills, on behalf of the city council, do hereby proclaim November 25th, 2023 as Small Business Saturday and urge our residents to support small businesses annually on the Saturdays after Thanksgiving and throughout the entire year. To receive this proclamation is one of our economic development chair, T.R. Carr. T.R.
We'd like to, on the behalf of the small business in Farmington Hills, like to thank the members of the council for this indication of support. One thing to understand, I believe, is that this is more than just a symbolic action taken by the council of the city of Farmington Hills. Small businesses really do represent the economic base and the economic foundation of America, and especially of Farmington Hills itself. As we drive around and look at the various streets, various small businesses, that is the economic livelihood of our city. One thing I would also state is that small businesses add significantly to the quality of life for our city. One thing we like to do is like to go down to the neighborhood store, whether it be a grocery or a coffee shop or a boutique. We like to do that because it portrays the quality of our city. So small businesses are in fact the heartbeat of what we do. They're really significant, and I want to thank you on behalf of the Area Chamber of Commerce and small businesses in Farmington Hills for this proclamation. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Don't go far, because you're next.
Okay.
The Economic Development Corporation annual update will be given again by Dr. T.R. Carr.
Along with T as well.
Oh, and, okay, very good.
I believe T is going to.
Good evening, Council. I just wanted to say thank you. I wanted to introduce our Economic Development Corporation Chairman. He is a very wonderful asset that we have within the Economic Development Corporation, and I wanted to ensure that he did share our EDC annual update.
Thank you very much.
It's an honor to be here to talk about the activities of the Economic Development Corporation to the current members of the council, past members, and to incoming members of the council, incoming mayor. We do appreciate that, and we do want to spend time working with you this coming year. One thing to understand is that the EDC has been around since 1974. You know, if you, we did a annual report to you, and EDC has been around since the city was in fact created. We exist to provide economic foundation for the city. If you go back and look at the purposes for us, our goal is to reduce unemployment. Our goal is to retain local industries. Our goal is to support commercial enterprises. Our goal is to strengthen and revitalize the economy of Farmington Hills, and not only Farmington Hills, but Southeast Michigan as well, and Oakland County. We exist to provide a resource for the City Council. we exist to provide a resource for the Director of Economic Development for the City of Farmington Hills. We are an entity that is somewhat different from other boards and commissions, and so we have a different charter. One thing we would say in terms of our last activities, the last couple of years, we have been heavily involved trying to develop an incubator, small business high-tech incubator on the 3rd floor of the Hawk. The facility that the city acquired a few years ago, the 3rd floor, we have the science labs, biology, chemistry, and they are really especially well suited for med tech kinds of research. We worked with our state representatives, and we did secure for the city of Farmington Hills a grant from the state of Michigan of $750,000 to begin renovations and to set up this particular incubator. So this is a product of an extensive amount of work by a lot of individuals, by the, in fact, team of the EDC and by the city staff as well, the city manager's office and our director of economic development. In fact, the City Council has been very supportive of those efforts because the City Council had approved consultants from Lansing, public sector consultants, to do a feasibility study. That report was conducted and presented to the council. The council accepted it. And as part of that, being able to develop a different kind of economic activity at the council, it was necessary to amend the zoning provisions for the city of Farmington Hills. And that's something that you did. The city council did amend zoning so that we could conduct a business operation on the 3rd floor of the Hawk. And we do appreciate that. As a result of that, we do have one tenant. Comprehensive GI Solutions has occupied one of our labs. And our goal is to see more of those kinds of businesses move into the 3rd floor of the Hawk. At the June 23 meeting of this year, I, along with Lou Cantor, the vice chair of the EDC, did present a short update looking at activities within the incubator and within what we call the Hawk. A significant amount of physical renovation, legal effort, as well as marketing has taken care of. One of the things to understand is that, and this is something to become aware of for me individually, is that there is a shortage of space in Southeast Michigan for med tech kinds of research. Now, we're not doing really high level, very dangerous infectious kinds of research, but there's low level work that needs to be done. There's a shortage of space, and as we've met with individuals across the state, they have said that this is an ideal place to do it. The 3rd floor of the Hawk has a separate entrance, grade level on the 3rd floor. We can have separate parking, and it provides that kind of facility. In fact, as we look at GI Solutions, their long-term goal is to expand their business and to buy a building, construct a building somewhere in proximity to the Hawk. What we have found is that with innovation centers, startup companies typically relocate within 5 to 10 miles of the incubator. And this is our first one. They're a new company, a startup company drawn from Farmington Hills individuals, and we believe that that's really going to help us. One thing that we have done is we have met with members of, I almost called it Beaumont, but it's Corwell. We continue to meet with Corwell Health, looking at what can we do to assist that particular institution here in the city of Farmington Hills. Corwell Health is a significant employer within our region. Corwell Health provides significant public health services, and we want to be sure to expand that area. One thing, if you look at the area around that hospital, it needs some tender loving care in terms of development. And our goal is to work with Corwell. Our goal is to work with the private sector. Our goal is to work with city staff, with TIA. Our goal is to work with you as a council to do what we can to enhance the quality of services that are provided by Corwell to the residents of Farmington Hills. In terms of our goals, it's really consistent with what we have stated in the purposes. Our goal is to enhance economic growth within the city of Farmington Hills. We seek members from our corporation who have the education, who have the experience, who have the business acumen, who have the economic development background to make, and the skills necessary to facilitate economic development within our city. So we have standards we expect of our members. We're all volunteers. You know, we are, in fact, an unpaid group of volunteers, as are a lot of other people serving on boards and commissions. But we want individuals who understand, know, and appreciate the environment in which we operate. So our goal, as I've talked with Tia and talked with the city staff, our goal would be to see the proportion of city revenue that is generated by the private sector to go up. Historically, we were running somewhere around, what, 33% of our revenue from businesses. Now it's down to 31%. We do not believe that a tax increase is the appropriate measure. What we want to do is to see our economic base expand. We want to see more businesses created. We want to see expansion so that as we bring in new businesses, as current businesses expand, then that will generate more revenue for the residents of the city of Farmington Hills. The EDC is involved in supporting the economic master plan redevelopment that was coming on the agenda for you as members of the City Council. This is a somewhat lengthy process. We have met with members from Stiefel Gillis, who is the consultants. Our goal is to work with the consultants, to work with the City Council, to work with the Plan Commission such that we can assist in the expansion, growth, and productivity of the private sector in Farmington Hills. We want to work with those entities to grow business opportunities. We want to support, we want to change, and we want to improve upon operations where possible. So everything that we want to do is to support that climate, which will spur economic growth, spur jobs, spur employment, and spur the quality of life within the city of Farmington Hills. We want to continue to be involved with city staff, with the economic developer to evaluate retail, office, light industry options within the city of Farmington Hills. This involves activities such as supporting and expanding our corporation's role in areas such as the Grand River Corridor and such as the Orchard Lake Corridor. In fact, Tia has organized, we took a tour with some business leaders we took 2 buses touring Grand River, looking at that corridor, looking at potential options. We also toured the Orchard Lake Corridor. One thing that has become increasingly clear to me, and I think to members of the board of the EDC, is that sometimes people say, well, Farmington Hills is a built-out city. We've heard that for years. When I first moved here 7 years ago, Farmington Hills is a built-out city. Well, in one respect, that is in fact true. But on the other hand, there are lots of areas within the city that need that, redevelopment area, need touch. And we believe that we can work with you, members of the council, to work with the Plan Commission, to work with the private sector, to see that we continually build out the city of Farmington Hills in a way that is consistent with the goals and aspirations of our residents. You know, we are residents ourselves, and we want only that which is good. We only want that which is appropriate, and that which really contributes to the quality of life of the residents of Farmington Hills. So we are representatives in a way for the residents of Farmington Hills, so we'll be sure that whatever we bring forward will in fact be consistent with our goal and operations. The Economic Development Corporation seeks to work with the initiative undertaken by you as you approve the linkages with Sci-Fi to bring fiber optic to the residents of Farmington Hills. I was at the opening ceremony at the Hawk. We looked at that. I've talked to the residents within my subdivision, and people are really quite excited about the prospect of high-speed, reliable, fiber optic internet access. That will give us choices, and that will bring down costs. In fact, my current carrier, I received a telephone call today. You qualify for a reduced rate in your internet services. I wonder why they made that call. Could it be because you, as members of the city council, other people, have said we're going to bring in a fiber optic system which will provide competition and reduce costs? So again, we want to work on that because the internet is an incredible opportunity for both education. My career background is in the field of education. I use the internet all the time. We want that for the public school students. We want that for the universities that are active within our community. We want that for our business community as well. Small businesses have the option of being able to enhance their footprint, not just locally, but region-wise and conceivably nationwide. So we want to use that and want to work with you to find ways in which we can expand upon that. In terms of our goals, one thing that we will be coming to you in the near future is we will need a budget, to do some of the things that we want to do. The city attorney has told us he cannot represent us because we are a different kind of a board or commission from everything else. And so we'll be coming for you to ask for funding to help us do that. Members of our EDC board have joined some organizations to reach us to have contact with other entities that are involved in economic development. MishBio, for example, dealing with med tech. I've attended several seminars as well up at Oakland County. So we're trying to reach out to the automotive industry. We want to reach out to healthcare. There's a number of things that we really need to do to help expand opportunities within Farmington Hills and to make us, a real force to maintain our presence, to maintain our reputation within Southeast Michigan. One thing that it's become clear to us over the last couple of years is that Farmington Hills competes on a national and an international scale for economic growth and development. Lots of times, residents saying, well, why can't you do this? Why don't you bring this in? The resolution that you passed earlier today deals with small businesses, and that is a critical foundation. At the same time, Farmington Hills competes. A couple of years ago, the EDC worked with Nissan, as with the council, to secure some tax breaks, to secure a $40 million, in the words of Nissan, a safety advancement lab. It's really a crash facility located here in Farmington Hills. They crash between 12 and 13 vehicles a week. It's a very sophisticated facility. It allows the engineering campus, which is located on Farmington Hills, those engineers can simply walk across the grass some 50 yards to observe, to measure, and to receive data from crashes. That understand that we were, all the intelligence that we had received is that we were going up against other states. Dare I mention Tennessee? But other states are after what we have, and we are competing that continuously. Now, not only do we deal with Nissan, with their test facility, but Humanetics. I don't know if people are aware that Humanetics, a corporation here in Farmington Hills, builds the crash dummies. You see them on television, and people think, well, it doesn't look like much, but I've toured the facility and looked at it. These dummies cost between $100,000 and $1 million a copy. Their operations here in Farmington Hills, here in Southeast Michigan, but they also have operations in the EU and Europe. So we're competing with these corporations to keep that industry, to keep those jobs, to keep that technology here in Farmington Hill. At the same time, we have other companies that have, international companies who have a presence with us. And these are things that have gone before us, but which we have to maintain that relationship. Mercedes-Benz Financial Services has its North American headquarters here in Farmington Hills. They serve North America, they serve Mexico, Canada, Central America. It's a significant resource for us as a city, and it helps us to attract others. The Bosch Corporation, out of Germany is here as well. So we have large corporations, I've just mentioned 3 or 4 of them, but we have 5,000 small businesses as well. The challenge for us is to be a city where we can reach out and grow. One goal for us is to see our economic development staff, our department increase. We have 1 staffer right now doing an excellent job. But if we're going to reach out to large multinational corporations, if we're going to reach out to 5,000 existing businesses, small businesses, we have a job, we have a task, and that's something we want to work with you. We have a critical role in the city of Farmington Hills. And as I talked about the Innovation Center, which has consumed a lot of our life, should any of you, current council members, should any of the oncoming council members, the mayor, like to have a tour, T&I, the economic developer for the city, would like to arrange a tour. We can take you up, show you that. At the same time, I'd be willing to meet with you individually so that we can talk about options and growth and things for the future. Again, the EDC, this is my heart and soul. This is what I've done for years, even before moving to Farmington Hills. The EDC exists to make your job easier. We exist to improve the quality of life of our residents. We exist to put Farmington Hills on the map as a city that likes to do business, as a city that is responsible and responsive so that we can maintain the quality of life of our residents. If you have any questions, I'd be glad to try and answer them. Thank you very much for the opportunity to meet with you, and we look forward to doing this on a regular basis in the future.
Thank you. Any questions?
The comment.
Mr. Bridges.
Mr. Carr, we want to thank you for your presentation. And the city is better off to have a guy like you in your role, because you have an extensive background in this area. You worked for planning organizations in your past life where you came to Farmington Hills, and it's quite evident that your knowledge is there and expertise is there and your commitment is there. So we value you, we thank you, and we look forward to working with you to make sure Farmington remain an attractive place for existing businesses and new businesses as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Carr. Any other questions? All right, thanks again.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate it. All right, now we move on to number 9, Communications and Community Engagement Department update.
Where's your girl, PG? PG, where's she at today?
All right. Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem Bruce and City Council members, as well as our city administrators. I'm Vicki Nguyen, the Director of Communications and Community Engagement for the city. It's my honor to provide an update on the progress of this relatively new department that is working to drive comprehensive community strategy for the city. Since joining the organization about a year ago, I've implemented 4 key strategies toward that goal. The first strategy was pivotal and included reconfiguring the department for greater success. And so to that end, I'd like to formally recognize the team, which includes some new faces, and if they would stand when I call their name. Chris Blunden. So after 7 years of service to the city under my leadership, Chris was promoted to marketing manager. It was a well-deserved promotion, I might add. Chris works along Justin Wright, new marketing specialist, whose first day was today. He was unable to join us. He has a small child. Among the marketing team's accomplishments have been strategic support of the city's first advertising buy for the show Simply Queen. Chris created several eye-catching social media posts for that campaign, which was a digital strategy, and that campaign, tickets for that show sold out. He also led targeted marketing strategies, which included social media posts and email messaging for this year's summer camp at the Hawk. His efforts helped that program exceed the number of participants and revenue. This is Chris Blunden. Thank you, Chris. Jennifer Herman. She has served the city for 5 years as video services manager. She works alongside 2 video production specialists, including Jacob Nothstein and Paul Siski, who is in the booth back there. In addition to produce, the team created a newly branded opening, which will appear at the start of all videos posted on the city's digital platforms. They also created a new promotional video for the Hawk Theater to help broaden awareness of this city's gym, and you will see that video shortly. Thank you, Jennifer. Laura Cindy Plague Davila. Since joining the city about 3 months ago, she has worked to position Farmington Hills leaders and the city's diverse community offerings through media placements and high visibility interview opportunities, better known as proactive media, which is something that I talked about when I came before this body. In her short time, Laura Cindy has secured an estimate 100 earned media mentions and more than 20 high visibility interview opportunities on TV, radio, and print for the city manager, police, fire, special services, and public service departments. And she's just getting started. As a matter of fact, she's looking to reinstitute the city's internal newsletter, Farmington Hills, or FH Insider, Farmington Hills Insider, and this is the first draft, which I'm reviewing right now. So I'd like to thank all of my team members for being here. They work very, very hard daily. It's a small but mighty team, but we enjoy our work immensely. So in addition to restructuring the department, an additional strategy was implementing and leveraging existing talent to better position the team for success and physically moving team members. So I sought to leverage Chris Blunden's institutional knowledge. Again, he's been here for 7 years with the city in special services, and his role was elevated to a new manager role, which he now holds. I also elevated the former public information coordinator role to a new communications manager position, which Laura Cindy holds. Prior to my arrival, persons in the role of marketing, communications, and video services were positioned separately throughout the city. Under my leadership, I positioned these roles for greater collaboration, and today, video services and marketing experts work collaboratively out of the same suite at the Hawk. Communications experts remain at the city manager's office strategically, working in proximity to City Hall and public safety to support press events and crisis communications as needed. Once a week, the entire team works at the Hawk to foster creativity, collaboration, and enhance working relationships, because we're, again, a new team. The fourth and final key strategy implemented to drive a comprehensive community strategy included successfully advocating for an additional marketing tool to enhance the city's owned and earned strategy. This new tool is paid media. The city placed a bid for a media buyer, which is a woman-owned small business who won the bid, known as Emerald Media, and they are now a resource to negotiate and leverage media buys on behalf of the city. I'd like to introduce Dawn Crowley to this body. Dawn, please come up. So with Dawn's support and our owned and earned media strategy, all the experts are on this team, this department is best positioned to pull the lever fully on communications resources at our disposal, including paid media. So following council's approval of the 22-23 budget, advertising is now used to support signature city programming, including at the Hawk and starting with the Hawk Theater. An advertising buy was recently helped to support a sold-out show of the Simply Queen Live show, and I'd like to share audio of that now. This is the ad that actually played on air.
Hey, rock fans, get ready to be transported back in time with one of the most iconic rock bands of all time. Simply Queen Live is coming to the City of Farmington Hills entertainment venue, the Hawk Theater. Every vocal, riff, and more that made Freddie Mercury the legend he was has been mastered by Mercury impersonator Rick Rock. Simply Queen Live, the experience, faithfully recreates the grand scope of Queen's live shows, musically and visually. Gather your friends and get your tickets for Simply Queen Live October 6th at 7:30 p.m. at the Hawk in Farmington Hills at thehawktheater.com.
All right. And Dawn will talk to you a little bit about how she negotiated this ad and what it did for us.
And all of these work together, so when we get to the point about a couple other things, I want to incorporate some things in, but one of the things we wanted to do, because the Hawk is such, when I toured the Hawk for the first time, I was overwhelmed at the reuse of the space and how wonderful it is. And I am super jealous because I am a Birmingham resident, and that building and what you guys offer to this community, from kids programs to all the amazing special events Rachel and Sam and team all do over there, I was floored, to the point that we needed to bring the iHeart media partners, who sit in your backyard, by the way, over to do a tour as well. And we talked about things like Simply Queen. One of the things we wanted to do was lift this up on air, because this is a show that had a lot of tickets, and we wanted to get it out broadly because we know people will come to the city to come see it. So we reached out through WLLZ, which is 106.7, one of the iHeart channels, and we ran on air, on digital, on their Facebook pages, and online promotion to support the event, and it did its job.
All right. Secondly, a media buy was also...
Hey, rock fans, get ready to be transported back in time with...
It was so good, we wanted to hear it again.
Hey, rock fans.
Hey, rock fans. The second, we leveraged advertising to promote our open house. Now, in doing this, the strategy was not to necessarily, because we know this is an event that a lot of people do attend, but the goal was to leverage this opportunity to talk about the city strategically. And so we armed the station, iHeartRadio, again, with interesting facts about our open house, the fact that we were promoting our 50th anniversary, a lot of other interesting facts to help sell our city to those who didn't necessarily know about us through these channels. And so that was a, well, let's talk about kind of how we
So this is the other part of that leverage. So iHeart has 6 stations in the market. One of them is WNIC, which our friend Jay Towers, who came out and hosted and helped host the open house event, came out to, and another one is WKQI. But I'm sure that if you haven't heard, Vicki will share with you how Jay progressively not only was at the event that day and talked about your amazing city and its 50th anniversary live on the air, but also talked the Monday following, not only on air, but on podcast, about how much he enjoyed being out here and how much he loved playing with the drones of the police department. And that's just a kind of continued engagement that we wanted to kind of host through that event.
That's right. So there were several promos, and I included a link to that via email on how Jay Towers talked post-event. But as it relates to coming up to the event, here's an audio of that ad.
Hi, it's Jay Towers. Join me Sunday, October 8th for the Farmington Hills Open House as the city celebrates its 50th anniversary. It's fun for the entire family at City Hall from noon until 3, including kids' activities, free refreshments, safety demonstrations, and more. And learn about everything the city of Farmington Hills has to offer, including performances at the city's best-kept secret, the Hawk Theater. Park at OCC's East Lot and take a free shuttle. Don't miss the City of Farmington Hills Open House this Sunday with me, Jay Towers, and 100.3 WNIC.
Okay.
Hi, Jay Towers. Join me Sunday, October...
Twice. So again, one of the goals in what we do, I started early, is wanting to make sure that we drive individuals to our website. And so all of the ads that you will hear, especially the paid ad or anything that you see on social media, will drive people back to their website. Why? Because we're not necessarily talking about that particular event. We're also talking about what else can you find? What else can you find? And so one of the things that we knew that we needed to do base was to make sure that in as much as we all love the Hawk Theater, and we know about the Hawk, many of us do, but we can't take for granted that we have new people coming to the city all the time. Not every single resident knows that the Hawk exists. I remember that was one of the things my marketing manager had mentioned. In as much as we do a great job in promoting, there's someone or many people who may not know. And so one of the things that we wanted to do is focus on branding and evangelizing the Hawk Theater with this Hawk Theater campaign. And so here's a sample of this, and I want to shout out again the video services team who worked really hard on this very first promo that we're doing. We plan to do a lot more, but we needed to get something out because we can't keep talking about something that we assume everybody knows about. So we wanted to create something to build education around this. So this is the video. So you'll notice that, again, that find it at the Hawk, that's something that we continue to drive, and this was work that made in partnership with Special Services. We create a first draft, we run it past the team, and we got feedback. One of the things, our first iteration of music, they didn't care for as much, so we work in partnership with that department. So Dawn, if you want to talk about this new ad.
Yeah, so with this ad, in addition to it being posted on the website, we're also carrying it through paid social media. So anybody who's on Facebook or Instagram, not just in the city of Farmington Hills, but in a 10 to 15 mile radius outside, because as we've said, this is a draw. Like, this is an amazing spot for people to be and to come and to see, and I mean, makerspace and all these other amazing, you know, in addition to all the amazing entertainment pieces that are coming, children's programming, summer camps, I mean, you name it, it's at the Hawk. And in addition to that, the reason we wanted to choose a digital campaign like that, again, is because we can do it very cost effectively, but also kind of get it outside of just our, you know, city limits. And also rotate in some different messaging. There may be community events, you know, job opportunities, other things that you guys want to lift up to not only, again, your residents, but a little bit outside of that, you know, city wall. And digital advertising is a really easy and cost-effective way to do that.
Okay. And so finally, I just wanted to take this opportunity to provide an update to this body, because I really appreciate this body for investing in this particular department, for standing up this department. And now that this team is formally assembled, I believe that we're best positioned to enhance our work and continuing to promote the great programming and services of the city, not just for existing residents and businesses, but for new businesses and new residents. So thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Any questions or comments? Looks like great stuff, very dynamic, very engaging types of
Absolutely.
things. So I'm
Thank you.
really looking forward to how it plays out and all the new people that it's going to attract to what's going on here in the city. So it makes us look really great. So thank you for everything that you do to really make this just really shine. So thank you.
Thank you. Great team, so can't do it without them. So thank you all for being here this evening. I know it's late. They've been here really, really long, so thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, just before we move on to correspondence, I forgot one thing that I was going to do at the beginning of the agenda, which is normally the first council meeting after an election is when we swear in the new mayor and city council members, but tonight is a little bit different. We're actually going to do that next meeting, and it all has to do with the new election law and certification of the elections. So I'm going to let Mr. Jopik just address that briefly and as to why we're not swearing in people tonight.
Sure, yes. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Some of the changes in the election laws changed the date on which the election results are certified. So sitting here with us are our mayor-elect and 2 council member-elects that are not yet certified as members of city council in terms of the election being certified. But as most people know, the election results are posted, they just haven't been certified. So we're at this kind of limbo point, and normally the election in all past years that I've ever known about, and we look back in time to see if if it was in fact true, if my memory was correct, they have been certified before our first meeting after the election. But with the election law changes and the expanded election and whatnot, the certification is delayed now. And as of this meeting, the certification hasn't been completed. But it is expected to be completed later this week and in time for our next city council meeting. So at that meeting, per our city charter, which says that these members of council-elect cannot be seated until the first regular meeting after the election is certified. So as a result of our city charter, they cannot be seated until that point in time. So we have held this meeting during that limbo period, and the swearing in will occur at the November 27th meeting back here at that time. They will be, I think they will be, well, I know they will be sworn in, and they will take their seats. The gavel will be passed, and our normal process of transitioning over city council will take place at that time.
Very good. Thank you very much for that explanation.
You're welcome.
All right, moving on, correspondence. Does anybody have any correspondence that they would like to report? Okay, seeing no one. Moving on to public questions and comments. You're limited to 5 minutes for any item on these of city business not on the agenda. If anybody would like to speak, come forward to the podium. Come on up to the podium. Give us your name and the street you live on, but not your full address.
Good evening, Mayor Pro Tem and current City Council members. My name is Aiden. You guys need my last name?
Yeah.
Kittu, and I live on Woodstream.
Okay.
And I just have some questions. Also, hello to our Mayor-elect, Teresa Rich, and current, our future City Council members. So I've been doing some research on Farmington Hills and the master plan, and I see something that I have a few questions on. I don't know if the current City Council can answer this or future City Council members and the future mayor can answer, but I'd like to know the position on cannabis sales within the city. Is that something that the future mayor is going to work on, or is that something that our current mayor, Mrs. Vicky, is going to, Barnett is going to be working on? Yes.
Well, it's something that is still a work in progress, and I think that maybe Mr. Jopik could just very briefly address where we're at with our cannabis ordinance currently.
Yeah, certainly at the present time, the city council has adopted an opt-out ordinance where it essentially has indicated that it is not going to provide for cannabis businesses in the city. However, this city council, since 2008, when the original caregiver law went into place, has pretty much every year or pretty close to every year received updates and studied the status of cannabis law in Michigan and where it is and where the city is. And this city council is no exception. It has been studying it extensively, and in fact, in the last, I think the last year, has conducted several sessions that reached out to the community, reached out to the industry, reached out to other communities to more fully investigate and look into all the different options provided under the law, answer a lot of questions, receive feedback from not just the industry, but the community itself. And at this point, all the reports are in, and I imagine as city council, I can't speak for city council, of course, or the new members, but I would imagine just as it has in the past, the issue may be revisited at some point in the future.
Exactly. And then that's to piggyback off of kind of what you just said. Is there room for the city to open up cannabis conversations like we did in October of 2022, just to kind of, inform the residents of everything that the city has been working on and researching?
That may happen going forward.
Yes.
We've got obviously new council coming
Yes.
on, plus we're still involved in revising the master plan, and that may dictate where certain things are going to go. So we've got to complete that process. So it probably will be a little way down the road, but we keep everybody posted on all of our meetings and what's coming up. So if there are any changes, that will certainly be posted out there for people to be involved with.
Sounds good.
Ms. Knoll.
All the presentations are on the city's website if you want to go take a look at them. I don't know if they're on the homepage or exactly how to get to them, but I know everything's been posted if you want to take a look at all the presentations.
There's a
that were
tab at
held
the
over
bottom
the
of the
years.
homepage, sticky button at the bottom, that's for cannabis information and all the reports and all of the sessions that you held.
Awesome. Thank you guys for your time. I appreciate it.
Very much. Anybody else? All right, very good. Now I'll open up to council members' comments and announcements.
This is the appropriate time to thank our council members.
I'm sorry?
This is the appropriate time to thank our council members who we leave.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. I just think this is I wanted to say that I wanted to recognize and thank Mary Newland for serving us with on City Council for the past 4 years. Your voice has been a perspective and that was necessary and needed on our council. I know you always talk about you from the South End, but I want you to know that your perspectives and your positions on issues were helpful to making the city a better city. And we want to miss you, and we wish you well, and we encourage you to stay involved in our city as well. Okay, thank you.
I too would like to thank Ms. Newland for all of your work over the last 4 years on council. It's been much appreciated. You really stood up for what you believed in and for what you believed in for your neighborhood, and you were a big voice for everybody. So thank you for doing that, and I again hope you stay involved as well. And I want to congratulate the new members, the mayor-elect Teresa Rich and council members-elect John Aldred and Bill Dwyer on their wins last week. So congratulations, looking forward to serving with all of you. And they will be, as Mr. Jopik explained, sworn in and seated next council meeting on the 27th. So congratulations. Anybody else?
I'll just echo, I also echo your comments. So thank you for your service. Mary, you're a hard worker.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, I would expect anyone sitting in the seat would be a hard worker. So I was told this week that I'm the voice for the average person. It does not take an average person to get up here. So I think I'm a little bit better than just an average person. So you'll probably see me back soon. I'm going to try it again. So I won't be down long, but I'll get into more mischief as I can in the next 1.5 to 2 years. So I'll see what I can still do to continue to serve the city. Thank you.
Well,
Fuller?
you know, Mary and I came on board in 2019, only to be hit by COVID for a minute. We didn't meet for months. She's always been my seatmate. She's been my partner and just about everything. And I'm going to miss her so much. I know I'll never be able to pay her we were traveling and I had a real bad fall and she was able to get me back home safely. And I will be forever indebted to you for that. But she's a great person. She really spoke up for our community, not just the South End, but for the entire city. She was the conscience, I think, of our council. Always looked out for the average person. But she was just a phenomenal city council person. And I'm going to miss her advocacy and her approach to many issues that was based upon common sense. So I'll miss you, Mary.
Thank you.
All right, anybody else? Okay, now we move on to city manager update.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. I too wanted to thank our outgoing mayor, even though we're going to be swearing folks in next week, our next council meeting, and Mr. Massey and Mary Newland for your years of service to this city. It's been a great council to work with. And you guys, all of you have been very gracious and very supportive of me. And as a city manager, that means a lot. And so I really appreciate that. And Mary, it's sad to see you go. You are a sweet lady and a very compassionate person. I think Councilperson Bolaware put it well. You know, you made sure that your good friend got home. And I don't think it would have mattered if it was a good friend. You would have helped that person on the street that had fallen. You can't program that into somebody. That's just innate in your persona. And I enjoyed working with you. Congratulations to Councilperson Bolaware and our elects again, Mayor-elect Teresa Rich and Councilperson-elect Bill Dwyer and John Aldred. I very much look forward to working with all of you as well. And we have a lot of work to do. So it'll be an interesting year to come. Couple other things to note. It's that time of the year again. Means we're going into winter, but yard waste collection is going to come to an end here the week of December 11th. So yard waste pickup will end on your regularly scheduled day of the week between December 11th and December 15th. Sci-Fi was mentioned this evening, along with some other construction. There's a lot of construction on 11 Mile Road corridor between the City Hall here at Orchard Lake Road and Middle Belt Road. We have a water main replacement project that's going on in the Kimberly subdivision on the north side, along with the Sci-Fi fiber optic project. And then the square mile from 11 Mile down to 10 Mile, Orchard Lake over to Middle Belt is some of the first areas where the actual fiber optic installation is taking place. And then the last thing I just wanted to let council know is, and I think I noted that, and folks around town might be seeing some construction of some of our city facilities. We're having new smart signs installed in various spots throughout the city. That's part of our Smart Cities initiative. It'll enable us to better communicate with our residents, push information out, whether it's at the Hawk, here at City Hall, Founders Park, Heritage Park, several signs going in. And also wanted to mention that the Veterans Day luncheon on Friday was a really nice event. I always enjoy that event and listening and understanding the service that many of the folks in our community have provided to our service in our armed forces. So thank you very much. That concludes your report.
Thank you. And my congratulations to Ms. Bolaware. I forgot, yes, on your reelection, so congrats as well.
I'm sorry, I'll meet that as well.
I thought we were going to do this next meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, and the last item is the attorney's report. Anybody have any questions? All right, seeing none, that brings us to the end of the agenda. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, a second?
Support right here.
Moved by Ms. Newland, support by Ms. Bolaware. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Good night, Farmington Hills.